everybody. Welcome back to the show. We're here to talk about Bad Batch Season 3, Episode 13. But as you can see, I've got a special guest with me today, Tiara, also known as Crafting on Ilum. Tiara, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Why don't you go ahead and tell the people all about your cosplay and the different things that you do on your channel, because it's pretty awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, I do kind of a array of things. I do cosplay. I make sometimes like merch designs of Star Wars. What else do I do? Gosh, sometimes I do gaming. I have a friend group that we do like purchaser pass, so we kind of talk about like collectibles that have just come out and which ones we want to get and whatnot. I also, as you can see, have a fair
Nice.
collection of figurines and whatnot. So yeah, those are pretty much my main focuses.
Very cool. So what latest all this stuff coming out for May the 4th and 25th anniversary? What's one you're going to pick up, you think?
Well, I actually was just on Macari and I found this Phantom Menace bag. It's like embroidered. It's plain, it's a gray bag, but it has the Phantom Menace episode 1 like embroidered on it. It also comes with Darth Maul's like binoculars and then the walkie-talkies that Qui-Gon uses and
Oh,
Obi-Wan
dang.
uses. It comes with it, so I got that. I
Oh,
splurged a
there you
little
go.
bit. Yeah.
Sometimes, oh my gosh, yeah, sometimes I forget about that website, so I'm gonna have to hit
Yeah.
that up real quick. Very
Yeah, some
cool.
good
All
finds.
right. Well, let's get to know you a little bit more. So, what would you say pulled you into Star Wars? Was it a movie? Was it an experience? Was it, what is it about Star Wars that kind of, put its hooks in you, and now here you are, as addicted as we are?
Yeah. I have been exposed to Star Wars since probably I could walk. My dad is a very big Star Wars fan, so it's always just kind of been
Nice.
in the background. He's had his, Darth Vader figurines and whatnot, and then I had a very close cousin who was also a really big fan, and his dad, so it just kind of ran in the
Oh,
family.
wow. Okay.
We
Excellent.
used to, use all the toys and whatnot. My cousin had like this droid, the droid secret droid that Maul has, and it would like shoot discs out, and we'd use like plastic lightsabers to play. So yeah, it's mostly my family, my dad and my cousin.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, that's fantastic. That just sounds like good parenting. So
Yeah.
when you see your dad next, give him a high five and tell him I approve. So
Yeah.
very cool. Um, awesome. So what would you say is your favorite movie or show? Like, in the Star Wars universe, what do you love? What are you rewatching on a Sunday afternoon when it's raining? Does
Such
it
a
rain in
hard
Texas?
question. Oh yeah. When I first moved here, it rained for like 2 months straight, like nonstop.
Oh no.
Yeah. Um, yeah, so watched a lot of Star Wars on those days. I don't know if I had to pick one. Or not Phantom Menace. Revenge of the Sith is always like a nostalgia one for me because my dad took me out of
Yeah.
school to go watch it in theaters, and
Oh,
that
excellent.
was epic. Phantom Menace has been a rewatch of mine just because, as of recently, because they're releasing it on the movie theaters,
Mm-hmm.
just kind of rewatching that. But I love Tales of the Jedi, and I also really love
Mm.
Rebels, so you'll probably always hear that in the background if you're ever around me.
Very cool. Those are excellent. Yeah, that's awesome. There's so many good things now too. Like it just grows and grows and grows,
Yeah.
and it's so much fun. Um,
Yeah.
what character? And I've seen like a lot of your cosplay and stuff, so I'm curious as to what character do you love seeing the most, or do you love cosplaying the most? Like one that speaks to you the most. Just who is it for you? You can give me more than one if you have to, because I know this is definitely a
Yeah.
difficult one.
Yeah. Well, I love Qui-Gon. I on a lot of the podcasts I've gone on, I talk about Qui-Gon a lot just because I think he's just such a cool character, just a different Jedi than what we typically see like during
Mm-hmm.
their height of being a Jedi in the Republic. So I love Jedi. I also love Maul. I have a lot of Maul merch on my shop. I was
All
just
right.
recently looking and I was like, man, I have a lot of Maul stuff. um and then I cosplay as the second sister just because I've been told
Mm,
I look like her. So her
okay.
costume is pretty cool. So I really
Yeah.
enjoy putting that on.
I've seen that cosplay on your Instagram. It looks really, really good. Like you looks,
Thank
I'm
you.
like, that's
Yeah.
awesome. Okay. All right. Let's see. All right. So obviously we're here to talk about Bad Batch. How did you feel about Bad Batch? So like I can remember like they made this announcement. I don't know if where it was or when they made the announcement. Everyone's like, "Oh, go the Bad Batch," right? And for me, I was kind of like, "Okay, well, it's more content." But as the seasons have gone on, I am like, by the end of season 2, I was watching that before I was watching Mando season 3, like when they were overlapping each other, because
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
just fell in love with the show. How do you feel about the Bad Batch? From start to finish to where we're at now, and we only have 2 episodes left. So how you feeling about the
Yeah.
series as a whole?
I really enjoy it. I know some people have like conflicting feelings about it. I know some people say it doesn't really have like a plot or a whole lot of direction, but I
Mm-hmm.
feel the opposite. I think having it kind not open, but having these characters explore who they want to be in the aftermath of Order 66 is a pretty impactful thing. I really enjoyed the first season. I loved seeing where the clones were at after Order 66 because we don't have a lot of that information in the movies or other shows. So I really enjoyed it. Season 2 was a little hard for me to get through just because I didn't see, where it was going. But by the end
Mm,
of it, I was like, oh man, like I'm
oof.
so excited for season 3. So yeah, I enjoy it, despite maybe some hiccups here and there in season 2, at least for me
Yeah.
personally.
Okay. That's cool. Like we're kind of opposite because I thought season 1 kind of like was like discombobulated, and I thought season 2 focused in. But yeah, it's funny.
Okay.
Like everyone, yeah. But that's cool, and I agree with you though, because one of my things about the clones was watching Clone Wars. Now, I didn't watch it when it was coming out. I binged it later on in life. But the episode, and they visit him. I can't think of the clone's name. The one that has the family. Well, I can't think of his name right now. But I always thought like that's really grown up for a kids show. A clone that wanted to have a family and left the military, and I was just like, oh my gosh. So getting to
Yeah.
see them and his family, and then of course they revisit and stuff like that. I just thought that was pretty cool, and just it showed the depth that we can go into in these characters. I think some people, I think some people just want to complain to complain, but
Yeah.
yeah, um, there's a lot for you in all these episodes. So, all right, well, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna dive into Bad Batch season 3, episode 13, called "Into the Breach." It was directed by Saul Ruiz, sorry, and written by Brad Rao, which he's gotten quite a few credits, I think, this season. Overall, right? I mean, I don't know how you felt about the 3 or 4 episodes prior to this. What was your thought overall on episode 13? How were you feeling about it?
I liked it. It was intense. I think I was very stressed for like those last 3 minutes of the episode. I was like, "Oh
Yes. Oh
my
my
god!"
gosh.
Yeah. But I enjoyed it. I've liked this whole season so much. So
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
No, yeah. I was glad not to be sad for, afterwards. Like you got those 2 back-to-back episodes, and
Yeah.
I'm like crestfallen, and then last week's was kind of still in that same spot. I thought you were right though, like the intensity from start
Mm,
to finish. Just, I mean, I'm sitting there like fist, clenched, and
yeah.
just, and I also think, do you think it helps that we don't know anything about these characters? Every week we're learning a little bit more. That's the most we know about them.
Yeah.
Like nobody's safe technically, right? I mean, do you think that helps
I
with
think
that
it does. It keeps
intensity?
it like us on the edge of our seat, right? Like we don't know exactly where it's going. Like we have all these theories. I've seen so many theories of who is what and who's gonna die first and whatever. But I think it keeps me really like intrigued and captivated to see like pick up on all the small details and be like, okay, maybe this could indicate this or whatnot.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think you're right though. Like, yeah, because intensity. I just put eerie music. They opened up like the
Mm,
first 30 seconds. There's no talking. It's just all that stuff coming forward, and then they bring Ahsoka in there, and she's like, "Are they always watching?" And they're like, "Don't worry, you get used to it." I just feel, I don't know how about you, but like, I just feel terrible for these kids and for Omega, just
yeah.
what they're going through. I mean, and I just
Yeah.
put the Empire and Hemlock suck. So
Yeah.
that's in my
Every
notes
time
for
I
this
see him, I
episode.
just want to like punch him to the throat and be like, stop it. Yeah,
Yeah.
I do not like him. It is pretty dark. I mean, for an animated series, I'd say that it's
Hmm.
getting pretty dark. And some people don't enjoy that. Like with Andor, they didn't really enjoy that. But I think it kind of expands on the depths and lengths that the Empire is going to, and giving a little bit more information to certain plot holes that we've had
Yeah.
with the
Yeah,
sequels.
no,
So,
it's a nice way of putting it. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I think yeah, and I think they're doing such a great job of making us hate the Empire even
mm,
more. And then
yeah,
depending on, of course, how the series ends, who knows how we're going to feel about. I just hope Hemlock gets what's coming to him personally.
mm,
But
yeah.
um, so last week they rescued Vice Admiral Rampart, who is now prisoner Rampart. Um, what are your thoughts? Last week they go get him, and now he's a big part of this episode. What are your thoughts? How are you feeling about him so far?
He's a scumbag for sure, but he's a confident scumbag. So,
He really is. He really is.
I like that part where we see him say like, "Gosh, I missed this," and it's like, "Yep,
Yeah.
scumbag," but confident scumbag.
Yeah, for sure. I like when he's like, "That's a captain's uniform." Like he won't. He's Empire through and through. I think I put somewhere. Everyone has a place, and his is definitely in the Empire. Like
I
they,
like that. I like that. Yeah, I like that
yeah.
phrasing for
So
sure.
he just absolutely fits there. You see him in the prison, and he's just out of his element. You put that uniform on him, and he turns into, like you said, he just turns into that scum, and just plays that part. Could be standing there right beside Tarkin, and you know what I mean, just filling in. But yeah, I think that Rampart, he's kind of, for as intense as an episode as this was, there was a lot of humor in it, I thought.
Yeah,
So I
there's a
think
lot
that
of
was kind of
comedic
nice.
relief. Yeah, for
Yeah, so
sure.
that was good. A lot of it geared towards him, but yeah, I thought that was pretty fun. Of course, you got Omega. Talk to me. How do you feel about Omega? Like we've seen this young girl, and it's kind of fun because like you think back about Ahsoka when she came out in the Clone Wars movie, and people were just like, no. And I know obviously it's a lot different because they were messing with canon at the time. We didn't know how it was going to work.
Mhm.
Um, and I can remember myself not being a huge fan of her character in that movie, but now I've got a
Mhm.
tattoo of her on my arm, and
Wow, okay.
so like I'm in it. I'm all in for Ahsoka. How do you
Yeah.
feel about Omega's journey so far and where she's at, like in this episode, and even the whole series?
I think this season has proved to me at least that she has a pretty good character arc. I didn't really like her. I mean, she was okay in the first season, and then a little bit towards the end of the first season, and probably some of the second season, I was like, like she's okay. But as you know, we've seen her grow. I've become attached to her, and I like
Mm,
seeing how she represents all of the personalities or characteristics of Clone Force 99. Like we see so much of Crosshair and Echo and Tech and even Hunter in this, even just in this last episode, I feel like we see so
mm,
much of them in her and trying to
yeah,
escape Tantus.
yeah, for sure. I love her confidence. Um, just that strong character. No one can complain about people just that's what sometimes it bothers me when they talk about like there's not strong female characters. Like there's so many. Omega,
Yeah.
like I feel like she's at another level too. Like and they're doing such a great job with the animation, but when she's like hatching that plan to those kids, like I believed her. Like she's going to escape.
Yeah.
She's taking those kids with her. And I'm like, let's go. And
Yeah.
yeah, totally behind her um, in her plans, and just I've loved. I mean, like watching her grow up and her confidence and things like that. But it's going to lead me to a couple questions here when we get finished and we get kind of through the episode. But
Yeah.
um, so then they go and they hop on to the Bad Batch. So they got we got Omega in the vault, and we got the Bad Batch using Rampart to go back to Coruscant. They got to sneak into a facility. Were you getting any New Hope vibes from them sneaking in there? And
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, a little like I like the spy. It's like a spy-esque kind of thing, infiltrating, the enemy's
mm,
territories. So I liked it. I really liked when we saw before they enter Coruscant, when Hunter holds up his helmet and it's like stripped of all the
oh
paint.
yeah,
I thought that was pretty impactful too. Just like that brief but also close up of the helmet and then Hunter's reaction to it.
yeah, they've been through a lot. If you think back, you think back to the end of Clone Wars season 7. They're all proper and prim, and their the uniforms. And as the seasons have come on, I was kind of thinking about that too. That's a really good point. because like they're like blue yellow by the time they go to like they've changed so much and been through. You can
Mhm.
almost kind of see their journey through how their armor has kind of just been dilapidated and beaten up. And then, so what do you think going all black means? Like, is it ominous to you? Like, you're like, oh no,
A little
like,
bit. I'm a little scared. I have some chills. Yeah, I was terrified for, Tech, or not Tech, Echo. Sorry, I forgot his name. I was terrified for him. So it definitely brings, like how you're saying, ominous feel, because it's all black. There's no color on there. It's like the
mhm.
same color of that. I don't know what his name is. The mysterious
The CX
clone.
droids, oh,
Yeah,
CX
or
clone, yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
That's what it reminded me of.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, that whole scene, like you talked earlier too, like you said, it was tense. I feel like as soon as they landed on that space station, it was just like the intensity was just kind of at, and then I don't know if you recognize, like if the music kind of, like I watched it twice, fortunately, so I got to listen to the music a little bit more. That music is just, I mean, it just makes it worse. It's like this weird like beats to it, and I mean the intensity from. I wrote down Mission Impossible vibes for Echo. Doing his best Tom Cruise through there, but and like you
Yeah.
said, you just we don't know what's going to happen to these characters, so you're just kind of waiting for something bad to happen. Um, the tension, like I said, is insane in there. Of course, what you like you said. I think like that last 3 minutes or whatever is just it builds and builds and builds and builds and builds, and then if they hit it, they get on there. That shoots off into hyperspace, and they're on their way to Tantus. Um, Crosshair is making his comeback. I thought that whenever Rampart's freaking out and saying abort, and Crosshair's like, relax, Echo's got this. Like he believes in the team again. Like he's one of the Bad Batch, I think. So how does that make you feel when you see like Crosshair standing up for Echo and just kind of is it good for you to see him back? Like that's a hard return from where he was from Soldiers Follow Orders to now he's here.
Yeah.
How's that journey been for you?
Yeah, I mean, he was so disgusted with himself, I think, so down on himself, and to see him have that confidence back and like accept his faults and mistakes, and then knowing that he wants to do better going forward, seeing him accept himself for everything that he is. I think that's pretty powerful to see him now recuperated. I think we see it a lot with his hand and when it was shaking, and
Mm.
now he's back, right? Like when he shoots in the past episode on Rampart's hand, I forget what he was holding, but he like quickly
Oh
shoots out of
yeah.
his hand, and it's like, oh man, he's back, compared to how we've seen him this last season slash half of the season.
Yeah, I noticed that last week too. That's a really good point. And I didn't really think anything of it, but yeah, you're right. Like he just bam, there was no hesitation. He did what he had to
Mhm.
do, and he just shot that blaster out of Rampart's hand. That's awesome. Um, so there's 2 episodes left, right? Supposedly this is it. These are the last 2 episodes. Do you have any predictions, concerns, anything you want to see happen? Because we talked about these strong characters, and you got Hunter and Echo, and Rex is out there. We know kind of what happens to Rex because he kind of shows up later on in Rebels and things like that. But
Mhm.
we've never heard anything about the Bad Batch. Are you concerned for all of them? Are you concerned for Omega? Like, just what are your feelings with 2 episodes left?
I like to live in a land of delusion where they all live happily ever after. I don't like having this like really heavy gut feeling that this is the end for them, right? We hear it, I've seen it, I've seen so many posts, and it breaks my heart because I just feel like they could live happily ever after and together and get through these turbulent times, I would say. But I have a really bad feeling that something is going to happen to a lot of them because we don't see them in future
Mm,
projects. But I don't know, it could go for a twist, and then they do come out of it. So I don't know at this point.
yeah.
I have no theories. I do think that Omega is going to escape, and I think that they are going to get the clones out. But the question is, at what cost is that going to
Yeah.
happen?
Well, they kind of have to, right? Because Gregor's at the end of that, well, not Gregor. Yeah, Gregor Wolf, he's at the end of, what was it, midway through the season. He lets them
Mm,
go. So, he's probably one of the clones in prison now. and he obviously has to be rescued, and because of the bad bat, so he can be on that desert planet when the rebels find him, right? Whenever like
Wolf.
Kanan and those guys, yeah, isn't Wolf?
Wolf.
Wasn't Wolf
Yeah.
part of that group?
Yeah. It was Wolf, Gregor, and Rex. Wolf
Yeah,
was on that planet when it was Rex standing up to Wolf, and then Rex and
yeah,
Gregor and all them, you know, escaped, and then Wolf went back to whoever he reports to. So I don't know if he's in prison because he let them go. It didn't really say too much, but
yeah. I
maybe
was,
we'll see that.
yeah. I mean, yeah. There's so much I feel like to wrap up. Do you think this is it? Like, do you think like when these next 2 episodes are done, that's the end of the story?
I mean, it could be. It could very well be. I have no like concrete evidence to say one way or the other. I think either
Yeah.
yes, it will be it, and it was just a really nice story to live through, and we maybe Omega escapes, and maybe Echo escapes too, and then the rest of them die. I don't know. Or they could, you know, everyone make it out safe, and then maybe they join Rex's like team or crew or whatnot.
Mm,
You know,
yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. I feel, yeah, because I always think about, like, it's just like in today's episode, and I mean, she's like how old? Like 12, 13 years old, probably, it seems like,
Yeah.
if that old. And
Yeah.
she's hatching this plan. She's super confident. Like, she's got everything like the rebellion will need eventually. So, like,
Ooh, I
where
like
is
that.
she? Like, and she's
Yeah.
not the kind of person, just what we know of her over these three, she doesn't let people hurt. She takes care of situations. There's no, in my mind, I feel like there's no way that she can be in universe and just
Mm,
letting the Empire do what it does without fighting back. So I don't.
yeah.
I'm curious as to how they're going to end this. I mean, I can't imagine that they end this character, but I mean, she's got to be somewhere, right? I mean, if she survives, lots of people think, and I think they think like you do. Like a couple of the clones are probably going to, you know, Clone Force 99 may not make it out whole,
Yeah.
and it is still weird not having Tech there with them, but do you think that Lucasfilm would take out a little girl?
I don't know, it's been pretty dark recently. I don't
That's
know. Even Kenobi, that scene with Vader like walking through that
oh
town and like, you
yeah,
know, destroying, I mean, it's been pretty
that
dark.
was
We've seen some really gruesome stuff. So
that's true.
I
That's a
like
good
your
point.
idea of Omega being a crucial part of the rebellion because she has those characteristics and she doesn't stand for evil or cruelty in the galaxy. So I like that.
No,
I
yeah,
wonder if they'll run with that.
that's what I'm kind of curious because there's got to be something new coming out. Um, there was stuff with Nika Fuderman who voices Asajj. She got her. I think she told us, like, I was at Planet Comic Con in Kansas City, and she's like, "Oh, there's more to come," and then that got reported, not by us. I just took that
Mm.
as friendly information she was giving me.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah.
I mean, I wonder, they bring Asajj back in that one episode. Like, it would be weird to bring her back. And I don't know about you, but I kind of assumed, like, with Tales of the Sith, because we all thought that's what was coming out, that it was going to be like a story about her, but we know that's not true now. I guess I'm kind of hoping that, like the path, like from Kenobi, like, because you brought up Kenobi too, like
Yeah,
maybe the path is like the next story, and Asajj is part of that, and they've
yeah.
got, I don't know, like that would be great. But like you said, if would you be okay if it has a solid ending? Are you okay with no matter what happens, or do you want more?
I mean, I'm gonna have to be okay with it. I'm
Yeah,
gonna
it's
have to
true.
make
Yeah.
peace with it. I like that idea. Maybe maybe a couple of Clone Force 99 makes it out, and they all kind of go their separate ways, and then maybe Ventress comes back for Omega, and maybe Omega helps her with the path. Like maybe we could run with that idea somewhere. I don't know, but
Hmm.
yeah, I'm gonna
Yeah,
have to make peace if they all die.
yeah. It feels like there's definitely a setup to me. I mean, Kenobi, he mentions Quinlan. Of course, we know Quinlan and Asajj have their thing in Dark Disciple, but we also know how that book ends. And they would have, they said they weren't retconning things.
Hmm.
So there's got to be more to that story. I wonder if it's all tied in or not, but who knows? We'll find out. I guess, like you said, though, like, I love your outlook too. Like, well, I'll have to make peace with it. That's just the end. And I wish more people had that, these people like reset the trilogies and stuff like just deal with it as it is and move forward. But I really like your outlook on. I mean, it is what it is, right? That is Star Wars, and we got to deal with whatever happens in 2 weeks. So
Yeah,
that's
before
very
all
cool.
this,
I
all
like it.
these works, I mean, we had to make peace with how, the prequels and sequels and original trilogy happened. Like, I mean, it's no different now. I love seeing the stories expanded, but every story has to end somewhere. So, I mean, if this is where it
Yeah.
ends, this is where it ends.
Wow. I wish, man, you should be the voice for all the fandom. Things would be so much better in the Star Wars fandom galaxy if everyone had as calm and clear thoughts as that. So very cool. Um, Anything else that stood out to you in this episode?
Not much. I think we covered pretty much everything. I like the resolve that the crew has now. Like when Hunter says negative, like that is the epitome of their resolve to go and rescue Omega, like no matter what the stakes are. So risk is high, but I'm really excited for these next two last episodes because I have no idea where it's going. So I really would like some
Yeah,
answers at this point. This whole season has been up and down, toying with my feelings. So
absolutely, absolutely. I loved it. Yeah, I can't wait. It's going to be it's always a long week until next Wednesday. So, but yeah,
yeah,
awesome. Um, Tiara, I want to thank you for joining us, or joining me. I guess I always say us. I'm used to having more people on the show, but I want to thank you for joining me. This has been
yeah.
awesome. I wish more people had your positive outlook, right? Why don't you go ahead one last time, tell everybody where they can find you, like your social medias, what you're up to, if you have any cool events coming up or anything like that, and then we'll go ahead and sign off.
Yeah, you can find me on TikTok, Instagram, and I have a YouTube page, but most of them is just the streams I do with some of my friends. So not too many videos there, but you can just find me at crafting on Elam or Ilum, just crafting _on Elam, and it's on both TikTok and Instagram. I do a lot of my stuff on Instagram. I just am working on a Bad Batch tee, which I'm wearing. I
Very
just
cool.
posted recently, so that will be releasing soon. I also have a special Phantom Menace tee that I've been designing that's been in the works, so I'm probably going to be releasing that soon too. So if you like, cool Star Wars merch, give me a follow. Keep following for those updates. And yeah, if you like cosplay too, you can follow me.
Awesome. Very cool. Again, thank you so much for coming on. And I hope that we're not disappointed with the end. I don't think we will be, but I mean, I think it's going to end. I hope we get the ending that we all want, but who knows? As long as we have your attitude about it, the ending will be the ending. So, all
Yeah.
right. Well, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.